welcome. This is the short 20-minute version of our new flow that's on YouTube. So if you enjoy it, feel free to do the whole class, 60-minute class on YouTube. We're actually going to get started on our backs in Shavasana, laying down completely, finding our breath as we become completely still. Although we've been living in our bodies for at least this entire lifetime, we rarely really embody our body. So we rarely are conscious or mindful of how it feels to be in our body. So for this class, I want you to find a beginner's mind. I want you to find a curious mind, almost as if this were your first time in your body. So anything that comes up, try to bring your attention, your awareness, and with curiosity, see what your body has to tell you. Slowly, we're going to pass your big thumb through the tips of your fingers, just kind of bringing the awareness to that sensation of touch in your fingertips. Taking your awareness, your attention completely to that place. With that same attention, I want you to move throughout the rest of this class. Each movement completely attentive and open to see what it has to offer you. With that, bring both knees into your chest. Planting both feet hip-width apart, heels under your knees, arms next to your torso. On the inhale, we're going to lift our hips up, and on the exhale, lower down. Become attentive with the breath of this dynamic movement, so don't rush through it. At your own pace, we're going to stay here a couple more times. I'm not going to tell you how many because it's not about the amount. It's doing it at your own pace, how it feels right for you, connecting with each movement and breath. On the next inhale, you're going to lift your hips up. This time, interlacing your fingers under you, shoving your shoulders under your chest, coming into a full bridge. As you push the heels back, heart pushes towards the roof of the mouth and hips up towards the ceiling. Hold here, keeping the legs parallel. 2 more breaths. And slowly letting go of the hands, dropping the hips, bringing both knees into your chest. Swaying from side to side. Massaging the low back. Opening your arms at a T, letting the knees fall towards the right, looking towards the left. Just a gentle twist as we begin to warm up the spine. And as you stay still here, try to come back to that presence that we first set. How do you feel in the twist? What's going on in the body and the mind? And come back through center, other side. Twisting towards the left, looking the opposite way. Try to find stillness, because that's when we can really become attentive of what's going on inside. We're fidgeting and wiggling. It's harder for anything from inside to kind of come to surface because it can be very distracting. And coming back through center. Hugging in the knees. We're going to rock from back and forth all the way into Navasana. Finding our sits bones, shins parallel to the mat, finding length through the spine. Long, long spine. Arms lengthen forward. If this is too much and you're rounding the low back, you can place your hands behind you for support. We're going to hold here for 3 more breaths. Crown of the head lifts, shoulders rolling back. And slowly dropping the hands, placing them behind you, placing the feet hip width apart, lift the hips up, reverse tabletop. Maybe looking back, maybe looking forward, whatever feels best for your neck. Trying not to let the hips dip in, pushing the hips out, keeping both legs parallel. Two more breaths. And on the next exhale, slowly lower down, coming back into Navasana. Lifting the legs, finding a long spine. Arms long along the legs, if that's available. Taking deep breaths, feeling the fire of this very intense pose. Stay still with it. Come in connection with it. And slowly dropping the feet, coming into a seated position. So bringing the shins to cross right around the mid shin, long spine. And we're going to just come doing half circles with the neck. So taking the ear towards the shoulder, then to chin towards the chest, and then the other ear towards the shoulder. So only half circles from one side to the other. Slowly coming back through center, placing your hands behind you, opening the shoulders, lifting the heart, looking up towards the ceiling. Finding a mini back bend as you push your hands back, lifting the heart a little higher. And come back through center, giving yourself a big hug, right arm over the left, grabbing behind your shoulders. And now we're going to round our back, tucking our elbows towards our navel, our chin in towards our chest, coming as small as possible. And slowly release, coming back through center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist towards the right. Placing the left hand on the right knee as you look over the right shoulder. Feeling the long spine, the shoulders broadening. And come back through center. We're going to do the other side. So whatever leg is in the front will come to the back. Feet are flexed. Long spine. And now this time we're going to assist the neck stretches with our hands. So we're going to grab the right hand on the left side. We're going to place our right hand on the left side of the head as we pull gently the ear towards the shoulder. Opening the whole left side. Letting the same weight of the arm, the hand do the opening. There's no real pushing or pulling. And slowly shifting the head, tucking the chin in towards the right part of the chest and pulling the back of the head down. Letting go of the head, grabbing the right side of the head with the left hand, taking the ear towards the left shoulder. Maybe closing your eyes as we're seated. Taking Taking deep breaths. Maybe even visualizing what your body looks like with your eyes closed. And slowly release the hand, grabbing the back of the head, pulling the chin towards the left side of the chest. And release, long back, placing your hands behind you, fingertips facing forward or maybe out to the sides, whatever feels best. Heart lifts, shoulders roll back, looking up, opening the whole front side of the body. And release, this time hugging yourself, placing the left arm over the right, grabbing behind the shoulders, rounding the back, becoming as small as you can. Rounding all the way from the neck to the tailbone. And release the arms, coming back through a long spine. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist towards the left, grabbing the left knee with the right hand. Looking over the left shoulder, finding a long spine with the inhale, maybe twisting a little deeper with the exhale. And come back through center. Planting both hands in front of you, step your feet back, coming into a plank pose. Finding your plank, hands under the shoulders, feet, the heels are pushing back, broadening the collarbones. Hold here 2 more breaths. Not letting the hips drop, and slowly either placing your knees onto the mat or not, lowering all the way down towards the belly, not letting the shoulders dip either. Now, when you come into seal pose, you can adjust. For you, you're going to place your hands out in the towards the corners of the mat and lift the chest up. And now, the more you take it out to the sides, to the corners, the less intense it'll be. The closer it is to you, the more of a back bend it'll be. So whatever feels right. And from here, dynamic seal. So bending one elbow, looking over the right, coming back through center, other side. Continue at your own pace and feel free to stay wherever it feels a little stickier. On the next one, finish whatever you're doing and we'll meet in center. Dropping the forearms onto the mat, dropping the forehead onto the mat, placing the hands next to the shoulders, tucking the toes onto the mat. And now we're going to push ourselves up through reverse plank or back into child's pose. We're all going to meet in downward facing dog. Bending both knees to find the length through the spine. Maybe wiggling one knee, the other. Whatever feels right for just a couple more breaths. And we'll meet in downward facing dog, in a still down dog. Lifting the right leg up, opening the hip, bending the knee, taking the heel towards the right glute. And slowly closing it off, shifting forward, bringing the knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Lowering the back knee, the back of the foot, lift the torso up. Finding length through the spine, coming into your low lunge. Really feeling that the tailbone is drawing down and not up, so it's not crunching. Long arms, reaching the right hip crease back. And lower your hands back down towards the foot, lengthening the right leg, coming into a half split. Finding length through the crown of the head, the heel pushing. Maybe all toes are facing up, keeping squared hips. One more breath. and bend the front leg, walking the hands forward, walking the foot outside of the right hand. We're going to come into lizard. Feel free to stay here on your hands if this is already enough, or you can try to come onto your forearms, and maybe the hip opens, or maybe it stays close to the torso, minding your knee. You don't want to twerk the knee, so the knee is always in the same direction as the middle toe. So if you're opening the hip, maybe the foot lifts off of the mat. Hold here, 2 more breaths. And planting your hands back down. If you went down onto your forearms, placing the foot back onto the mat. We're going to lift the right arm, take it over and around, lifting and opening the heart. Keeping both hips looking down. And come back through center. Planting both hands onto the mat, wiggling the right foot between both hands. Placing the back toes down onto the mat, lifting the back knee, keeping a bend in the knee, lift up, crescent lunge. So we have both knees bent to really keep the tailbone lengthened, and we're not crunching the low back from here. We're going to lengthen the back leg, feeling that opening in the front left hip, and lower the hands back down. Go through your flow. Maybe that means placing your knees down, or maybe you want to skip it and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Other side, lift the left leg up. Open the hip, bend the knee. Reaching the left heel towards the left glute. Keeping both armpits facing down towards the mat. And slowly close it off, bringing the left knee into the nose. Placing the foot between your hands, lowering the back knee down, the back of the foot, low lunge. As you find your low lunge, take a deep breath in. Again, maybe closing your eyes. And check in with what's going on with your body. Slowly blinking your eyes open if they were closed, placing your hands back down, lengthening the front leg, half splits. Finding length through the crown of the head, shoulders rolling back. Again, breathing here. Bend the left leg, walking the hands next to the foot. Walk the left foot outside of the left hand, letting the hips drop, either staying here or coming onto your forearms for lizard. Maybe the left foot lifts to let the hip open. And planting both hands back down on the mat, placing the whole foot onto the mat, grounding the foot, reaching the left arm over and behind, lifting the heart, opening the chest up towards the ceiling. Breathe and lower the left hand down, wiggling the left foot between your hands. Placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee, coming all the way up, crescent lunge. Keeping a small bend in the back leg, finding squared hips, and from there begin to lengthen the back leg, trying to keep the low back long, feeling that opening all in the front side of the right hip. Inhale and lower your hands back down. Go through your option of your flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Separating your feet from down dog, almost mat width apart. Letting the heels drop. We're going to walk our hands back, dropping our hips, coming into Malasana Yogi Squat. The feet are at a diagonal out. It's almost like a little frog. Hands in front of the heart as we push our knees out, lengthening through the spine. Inhale. It's fine if your heels aren't on the mat. Feel free to place a pillow under for support or just come onto your toes. Broadening the shoulders, trying not to crunch the low back, just to get a little deeper. And if I length through the spine, close your eyes for a second. Release everything through the mouth on the next exhale. Planting the hands in front of you. Keeping the wide stance, we're just going to fold forward, lengthening the legs, reaching the hips up towards the ceiling. Grabbing opposite elbow, swaying from side to side. Releasing our arms, one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up to standing. Feeling each vertebrae open and come back to its neutral position. Last thing that comes up is the head, chin parallel to the mat. And we'll walk towards the front of the mat. We're going to open our stance into a wide-legged stance, so around arms length. Hands behind the heart, interlacing, hands behind the torso, interlacing your hands, letting the torso hang over and the arms hang overhead. If this is too tight for your shoulders, feel free to grab a towel, a strap to kind of make it a little wider. Releasing, palms of the hands are facing each other. And inhale, come all the way back up, long spine. Keeping the stance, letting go of the hands. Come into a warrior two on the right side. So opening the right foot, arms long along the legs. Shoulders over the hips, not surfing forward. Looking over the middle finger. Hold here, one more breath. Keeping the front knee bent, we're going to come into your extended side angle. Either forearm onto the thigh or right arm inside of the right leg. Left arm reaches up. Right hip crease pulls back, it's not popping out. And now feel free to take the upper arm and wrap it around behind you, bringing the fingertips inside of the right thigh, if it's available. If not, wherever you can grab a hold on to. Stay here. Maybe looking up. And slowly lengthening the left arm, coming back through warrior two, keeping the bend in the knee, walking the left hand along the left leg, lengthening the right side of the body. Coming back through center, lengthening the front leg, closing off the right foot, preparing to do the other side. Warrior two on the left side, opening the arms along the legs, looking forward. If I pressed against your hands, your arms are strong. They wouldn't just flimms up. And preparing for your extended side angle, either placing your forearm onto the thigh or arm inside, reaching the right arm up. Left hip crease pulls back. And if you wrapped around the upper arm on the other side, do so on this side, opening the shoulder. Not collapsing over the thigh, there's length through the torso. One more breath. And release, lengthening the right arm up, coming back through warrior two. Walking the right hand along the right leg, reaching the left arm back. And come back through center, warrior two, lengthen the front leg. Closing off both feet, closing off both feet, opening the right foot. We're going to shift the weight towards the right side, coming into Skandasana. Bending the right leg, flipping the left foot to look up towards the ceiling. Again, just as Malasana, it's okay if your foot's not completely planted. Try to place the toes and lengthen the spine, opening the left arm up towards the ceiling. Left toes are facing up. And the torso, it's almost as if it also wanted to look up towards the ceiling. One more inhale, and lower the left hand down, walking the hands towards the other side, bending the left leg. Right toes look up now.
Left arm inside of the left leg, right arm reaches up, opening the heart. And slowly walking your hands through center. If you can reach the floor, stay here, hands right under the shoulders. If not, find a block or something so you can place your hands with a long spine. Walking the right hand right under your head, you're going to place the right hand there and lift the left arm up towards the ceiling as you reach the left hip crease back to keep the hips squared. One breath. Imagine you wanted to do a straight line from one hand to the other. And lower the left hand, reach your right arm up, twisting on the other side. Slowly planting both hands down, placing hands at the hips, finding a long spine coming all the way up to center. Both feet meet in the front of the mat. We're in a flow, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, hinge forward, reaching for the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, plant the hands next to the feet, step or hop back, plank or chaturanga. Feel free to skip them, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale and bring the right knee towards the right wrist, opening the hip, coming into pigeon pose, reaching the left leg back, opening the heart. Both hips are squared. That might mean that you're not completely grounded on the mat, or you'd want to place a towel or something under your right hip, and slowly lower your hands down onto the mat. Releasing here. Swinging the left foot towards the front, placing the left foot outside of the right thigh. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, either hug your knee in or place the elbow outside of the left thigh as you twist, looking over the left shoulder. And coming back through center, planting both hands in front of you, step or hop back, plank or chaturanga. Will meet in downward facing dog. Last down dog of the class. Coming into pigeon on the left side, bringing the left knee close to the left wrist, opening the hip, finding both hips are squared, so that means that you're not opening up towards the right side of the mat. Both hip points are facing forward. Finding a long spine and walking your hands forward, surrendering in pigeon pose. Slowly planting your hands onto the mat, lifting the torso up, swinging the right leg around, placing the right foot outside of the left thigh this time. Inhale, arms up, finding length through the crown of the head. On the exhale, twist towards the right, either hugging the knee in or placing the elbow outside of the thigh as you twist back, looking over the right elbow, the right shoulder. And come back through center, lengthening both legs forward. Dandasana. Finding a long spine and walking your hands over your thighs. Imagine you had a roll foam thing here and you have to kind of roll over it, fold over it, so you find more length through the crown of the head. And walking your hands back in, finding length through the crown of the head, closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in through the nose, letting it all go through the mouth. So one of the gifts of learning to embody our body, which we kind of have to relearn and practice this, is the sense of truly feeling alive. The more we learn how to connect with our body, the deeper sense of being alive. So just for you guys to carry that with you for today, I hope you enjoy. Namaste.